I think of challenges without setting any limitations. Then I see if I can make them work. I'm a filmmaker, sound engineer, musician, cyclist, and I want to make a change. I cycled all 4 countries of the UK, covering 482.5 miles in 10 days, and recorded 4 remote live sessions with Grassroots artists, all while raising money for Leeds Mind. All the equipment was strapped to a trailer that I pulled behind the bike. The main reason for this project was to raise awareness for grassroots music and highlight the issues artists face in the industry, particularly for female and non-binary musicians. I wanted to have open conversations to find out other people's experiences in the industry, while showing how amazing the grassroots scene is. It was a mild Wednesday in the middle of July when I set off on an adventure that had so many unknowns. I was grateful to have my mates Matt and Matty join me for the first day. All of the emotions were competing against each other, but I needed to keep a lid on them and focus on the task at hand. 500 miles of cycling and 4 remote live sessions to record. I had no idea what challenges the next 10 days would throw at me. All I knew is that I was exactly where I wanted to be in that moment in time.
Putting up on the offer while I can. Woo! Right.
It wasn't long until the challenges surfaced. I discovered 2 issues with the bike. The back brakes were sticking, making it twice as hard to pedal, and the front handlebar stem had come loose. It was day 1 and I was already having problems. What's worse is Matt and Matty were heading home. It was getting later in the day and I was left alone with my thoughts and some nasty hill climbs ahead.
So much doubt in my mind whether I can do this.
I went to some dark places that last 30k.
Got 8k left.
So left like Leeds at 8:30 in the morning, ended up getting to the campsite at 10 p.m. But yeah, I've just fueled up on some tea and I'm gonna get maybe 5 hours sleep. I woke up feeling like I'd been hit by a truck, but it was a new day and I was ready to see what it had in store for me. Currently here, need to go all the way up. As I crawled out the tent, the blue sky was battling through the clouds. I decided to call in a favour and ask my dad to support me for the next couple of days while I got my bike repaired.
Fingers are dirty.
I met him in T-Bay and felt instantly relieved that I wasn't alone. I had someone to share my problems with and bounce ideas off.
I've just walked up a 10%. This trip is definitely proving to be more difficult than I first thought. My mindset is changing and I need to go back and think about what I've done. At this point, I think I've done over 150k and not so much think about what's to come and just concentrate on what's going on right now. I'm like onto the next thing in general life. So, I mean, one of the reasons of this trip was to just focus on one thing at a time. So it's going to take me a few days to get into that rhythm, but I'm finding that actually the mileage probably doesn't matter, and I just need to enjoy it and not get eaten by midges. Yeah, just push through mentally and physically. I think I'm slowly reframing about the whole thing.
Today was a day of repairs.
All right, mate.
I had the first session in Galloway Forest and I had to get there by 7 p.m. It was a big relief getting the bike to the shop in Carlisle. It took about an hour to fix up and I was back on the road. Only now with the knowledge that the back wheel could blow out at any point. I rang around all the bike shops in the area and found one that had the right wheel. It was a mad race from Annan to Dumfries to get there before the shop closed. I made it. The guys stayed late to fix the wheel and I was so grateful. I had 40k still to do, but time was not on my side. I called it early and met my dad at a waterfall just past Iron Grey. I was so glad he was with me. He's an adventurer himself and a big inspiration to me, so for him to be involved made sense. It felt like cheating jumping in the car and pressing fast forward on the miles, but I had to prioritise the session. No doubt I'll be back to Scotland to ride those missing miles at some point. The sun was beaming as I rolled into the session. Bria and Ona were already there. I forgot they'd never met me, but I guess the bike and the trailer setup was enough of an introduction. I was excited to disrupt the peaceful forest with some loud, politically charged punk rock.
We are Bratakus. We are a two-piece punk band of sisters from the north of Scotland.
Nice.
I'm Bria. I'm Ona. It's our full time right now.
How is that?
Full on. Yeah.
Doing this trip in a way to raise awareness of like how poorly bands and musicians are paid. What's your experience of that?
That was probably spot on.
Yeah?
Even now when we've been playing for like nearly 10 years, and
really,
you get offers that are just really like taking the piss, especially with how much fuel costs and everything. We have a song on our new album about kind of being tokened, and people will book you and you know the only reason they've booked you is because they've seen, okay, there's women in that band. Yeah. It's like they've seen women playing music as a genre almost. There's no thread here, and it's almost like people just think it's like, okay, if there's women on the stage it's enough, but you know, you could still do it and make a gig that like makes sense.
Just finished the session with Bratakus. They smashed it and are also super lovely, which I had no doubt about. I am getting eaten alive by midges, and yes, I'm going to put some gloves on and onwards to the next. But session 1's done and it went really well and I'm really happy about it. Day 3? No, it's day 4. Cycling to get the ferry today, which I'm excited about. And then to Belfast. After a chat with a couple of bikers, I headed for the ferry. I was feeling refreshed, but nervous knowing I was going to be alone again and off to Ireland. Taking steps away from... I said morning to one of the locals as I cycled past on the forest road. She was out walking and asked if I was going far. I told her the story and her face lit up. She offered me in for a brew and asked if I needed anything. I wish I could have stayed and chatted, but I was conscious I had a ferry booked that I couldn't miss. The kindness of people is something that really stood out to me along the way.
Size of it.
Where fields span the land.
Speeding down the hill into Cairn Ryan, the sea on my left and the ferry in the distance, it felt big. I'd cycled here all the way from my house in Leeds. So many miles and already so many stories. I think I was feeling proud of myself, of how much I'd already overcome to get here. My dad mentioned that he thought about getting the ferry over with me, but decided against it. He told me this is where the adventure really starts, and he felt better for knowing my bike was in a good state. We hugged it out, and I got my game face on, knowing I was on my own again from here.
Step into the wall. Step into the wall.
2.5 hours and we reached Belfast. I cycled off the ferry with all the cars into a big industrial part of town. It was just a half-hour cycle away from the comfort of the hostel, so I powered through. I left the hostel in Belfast after rinsing the free breakfast. I needed to restock on spares, so the mission today was to find a bike shop.
I just tried to get through this gate. This one here. Had to take the trailer off. And then realised there's this.
I'd routed to a bike shop in Lisbon, but after burning my legs out on a steep climb, it wasn't open. I'd made it almost halfway to the Mourne mountains when my gears locked. I was in the middle of nowhere and starting to panic. I got the tools out to troubleshoot. I peeled back the brake cover to find the gear cable had completely snapped off. Thankfully, I had a spare, so swapped it out and I was back on the road. I heard the dreaded noise of a puncture. Another one. I was not loving today. I used the last inner tube I had and stopped for lunch. I was now just in this state of expecting things to go wrong. It's a pretty exhausting state of mind to be in. It was hard graft on the bike, but the sessions really kept me going. I was determined to make it work. After one more puncture, I rolled into Newcastle, a town on the edge of the Mourne Mountains. I got a puncture repair kit from a really lovely woman in the e-bike shop. I also had to rethink the location of the session. We set up overlooking the harbour, giving the locals some entertainment.
Suspending in the snow, I feel you, Mother Earth. Do you really hear me when I talk? I'm inspired by you, inspired by you, inspired by you. She boat, horizontal rainbow. From now on, it's on you. I perceive the light fall around me.
Tell me a bit about yourself. Who are you?
Yes, I'm Catachán, my stage name, which means curly-haired person in Irish. I'm not Irish, I'm Italian originally, but I love languages and I live in Ireland and I'm embracing the Irish language a little bit, so.
Is music your full time? Like, is it?
Well, it's part-time music. Yeah, part-time at the moment is organic farming.
Nice.
But yeah, it's never actually been the full-time. Not yet. I'm hoping it will be one day. I have my solo project and then I'm in a band called the Audix as well. What I find about Italy that's really depressing for me in the music scene is you're either super famous or you're no one and there's nothing in between.
Yeah.
I feel like Ireland is a tiny bit better, I think, than Italy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I do think that it is like you said, there's smaller bands and then there's massive bands and famous people that are getting paid millions, and there's like a void in between.
Yeah.
That's a jump from. It's just
I have to book a venue and put the money down. I'm not selling enough tickets to cover costs. That's always a big issue. Yeah.
And I find myself walking on the streets and wanting to know more. I need to stop and feel your presence. Mother Earth, erase my panic.
We grabbed food after the session and Kat offered me a lift to the campsite.
fit in the car. Absolutely buzzing. Yeah. Lifesaver. Bike's all tucked up in bed.
I felt like I'd unlocked a new day of patience and resilience to things going wrong. Reflecting on yesterday, the kindness of everyone made a nightmare day bearable. Although I was alone, I felt like if I asked, anyone was willing to help.
Back on the road for now. Just heading to the ferry. Got to take some weight off the trailer, so I've got my big bag on my back. It's a slow puncher. I'm hoping it holds out. Really, really hoping. Because I don't know what I'm going to do otherwise.
Getting to the ferry was the first success of the day, and it felt like a massive achievement. I was crossing from Green Castle to Green Oar. It was here I met Clifford, a touring cyclist with lots of stories. He asked if I wanted to ride together for a bit, and it was so good to have company. We shared stories, and he told me that adventure starts when things go wrong, and I held on to that. It really felt like I was meant to meet him at that point in time. I finally made it to a bike shop in Dundalk.
Just cycling from Dundalk to Drogheda. Stocked up loads of inner tubes, gear cable, bike pump, just in case anything goes off again. Don't want to be put in that situation again. About another 25-30 kilometres to go. I'm staying at a hostel tonight, which I'm very excited for.
I was mentally so tired when I arrived at the hostel in Drogheda. I just needed to get some pizza and go to bed.
Today is proving tough. Basically just one long hill out of Drogheda, 42 kilometres to Dublin. It's not raining. Hopefully that stays that way. I'm gonna get a nice cold pint of Guinness in Dublin. Sorry if it's a closed road, but I've decided to risk it anyway because the other way was a hill.
I chanced it and it backfired. I had to turn around and follow a different route that added on another 100-metre climb. I dug deep and got it done.
Pretty alright view, isn't it?
I dropped back down the hill into a village called Mourne, the hometown of a famous pipe player called Seamus Ennis. There was an arts centre there with a music lesson going on. I was so tempted to join in. Zooming down some more big hills, I arrived into the chaos of Dublin. Taxis beeping and almost running me off the road. People everywhere. It was jarring having spent the last couple of days riding country roads. I couldn't wait to get to the hostel. Arriving at the self-proclaimed #1 hostel in Dublin, I checked in but then found out that they couldn't store my bike and they were suggesting locking it up outside. I was stuck with nowhere to stay, Saturday night in Dublin, and I couldn't afford anywhere else. I just had a right situation. The hostel wouldn't store my bike, so I'm off to Wales tonight and I've just rang a campsite. I'm gonna turn up there at like 12:30, pitch a tent and yeah, not be in Dublin. At that point I wanted out of Dublin and I was desperate to be somewhere more familiar. After meeting such lovely people over the past few days, to meet someone who was just not willing to help me felt like a crash back to reality. Just at the terminal, hoping that the bike gets on the ferry, because that would be just the last thing to happen.
It's day 8 and I'm on Anglesey.
I headed towards the original location I'd chosen for the live session. I was in my element being back in Wales. It feels like a second home because I spent so much time there on family holidays as a kid. I arrived at the spot and tried heaving the bike and trailer over the gate. It was having none of it. Plan B was another 40k ride over the other side of the island.
That view behind me though. Whew.
After a puncture and getting lost in the forest, I was hit by a strong headwind. I was done. It had been a long day and I'd misjudged time.
Desperately trying not to get another puncture. 7 minutes away. The forest is beautiful, but I'm absolutely gone today. I've done probably 70k I think. Got another 20 to do to the campsite, do a session, but I have some scenery.
I made it to the beach, hungry, exhausted, and ready to throw everything in the sea. The Wales session was by far the hardest to find anyone for, so I'd been pinging emails out while riding to get someone to record with. Masha was up for it, and at such short notice, I knew we were going to get on. I'm all about that spontaneity.
just going to film you dragging this along. It's very Castaway. It's so good.
I'm Masha Jana. As a kid, I went to a lot of like sort of camping where there'd be like a campfire and people playing songs with a guitar, and a lot of it was ex-Soviet countries.
Okay.
Artists. I was always really inspired by like poetry behind the lyricism, which is I think what inspired me to start writing songs as well.
Nice.
There's one guy called Gorodnitsky. He was a geophysicist and he would go on all these expeditions. And like as a way to pass the time, they would like write songs, but at the time he didn't even have a guitar with him, so he would just like write and sing them a cappella, and then at some point arrange them to guitar. I think a lot of his songs really inspire me.
I guess you've done a few gigs, but have you experienced much of the music industry?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I've been dipping my toe in. I've experienced a lot of rejection in the music industry, which seems
important.
to be
You've got
a big part of it.
Yeah.
I did get some funding earlier this year from Help Musicians to do skill development. And I went to a songwriting camp, which was really, really cool. I think that like actually exposed me to a lot of different elements of the music industry, like people working as producers, as like professional songwriters.
It was about 8:30 when we left the beach after the session. It was an hour and a half to the campsite and it was getting dark. The only thing keeping me going was my rations of fruit pastels.
What are you doing to me?
I finally arrived at the campsite at 10:30 and threw the bike and the trailer and then myself over the gate that was locked.
It's day number 8. No, it's day number 9. I've got 1 day left and today's gonna be a big day. I've just come up that hill. I'm hoping that it's gonna be flat from here on out. I can see Snowdonia in the distance.
My dad had offered to meet me today. I took him up on the offer. I was accepting all the help I could get now. The distance and the timings were taken out of me both mentally and physically. The plan was to get as close to Liverpool as possible. I bumped into a cyclist called Julie, who had all the energy. She'd ridden from Carnarvon that morning, and I met her just outside the campsite. We got talking, and she ended up donating to Leeds Mind through my link. It was the positivity I needed today. I hit 2 massive hills coming out of Bangor, and then a 10% up a bridge on the side of a coast route. I emptied the bucket again. That's a term for crying uncontrollably for anybody who's not familiar. I was a mess. When I met up with my dad, I was really emotional. I think the scale of the project was becoming clear.
How good is that view?
He sent me into the shop with his card to get some much needed snacks and a brew. I didn't know until this point, but my mum, sister and nephew were waiting for me at the next stop.
Got a friend!
Seeing how proud my family were of me reminded me what an absolute mission I'd been on and all the doubts I'd pushed through. Not only my own, but other people's as well. The trip was nearly over and I had grown so much as a person just from the past 8 days. I felt like I could do anything. Nothing was too big. The times I'd been telling myself I'm not good enough, to now having cycled 400 miles across 4 countries and all the problems I'd overcome.
Little Google Maps special. How the f do I approach this then? That's not gonna work.
I was back on my own again and Google Maps threw me one of its off-piste routes towards the B&B. Supposedly a 30-minute ride, it took me about an hour and a half.
Day number 10. It's the last day. I stayed at a B&B last night. I feel good, I feel fresh. I've had a massive breakfast. 3 courses, smashed it. So today it's to Liverpool, then to Formby. I'll see you on the other side. It's the last day, I can't believe it.
I had to do a bit of logistics en route. Sam, my partner, was driving over from Leeds to meet me at the finish. He'd agreed to go and pick up my drum kit from Manchester on the way, so Tits could use it on the final session. I made it to Liverpool. That was an unreal feeling. The session with Tits was at 3, and I was making good time. Last thing was to cross the Mersey. The ferry wasn't running, so I got the train. I actually never knew there was a train under the Mersey.
I've been all around the UK. Wow. This was my last stop.
So you do this a lot then?
In the past 10 days I've done it a lot, yeah. But yeah, thank you so much. So, nice one, thank you. Oh my god, there's another one.
I was pretty much straddled across a few steps, using my body weight to keep the bike from slipping. It was heavy. I walked out the station to a very busy Liverpool city centre. I didn't really have a minute to take it in. But then I was also realising that I'd just cycled here, well, the scenic route, all the way from Leeds. The GPS sent me down to the docks and then through a big industrial part of town. It then sent me on a coastal route to Formby. It was great until I hit the beach. As I cycled into the car park, through the trees, it hit me. I'd done it. I'd cycled through 4 different countries, covering over 480 miles, and recorded with 3 bands, all in 10 days. The only thing left for me to do was record the final session with Tits. and I was super excited.
Deliverance from the mailman. They're gonna swallow your whole hand. Hold on to your ice cream cone. Wooden ball should have slipped, fall and break all your bones. See you fumbling all alone, waiting for you to atone while you blame it on my fucking hormones. Don't wait up for the mailman. Why you looking so pale, man? You just wanna see me fail, man. Better leave now while you can. I don't think you understand. Over-romanticized manipulation. Stop demanding, so demeaning. Learn some manners. I want some answers.
Band name is Tits Up.
Yeah.
I am Amanda. I'm Jen. Bridget.
Nice to meet you.
You misunderstand. I'm not your mantra. I'll choose to
We do have situations where, like, you know, when other bands kind of put on a gig and they, because they're in a band as well, they'll kind of like appreciate the struggles you're going through and they try to pay you as much as they can and split it evenly between the other bands. But there's Jen knows. Sorry, it's the bird. But I feel like when it comes to people who are putting on gigs that maybe don't necessarily see it from our kind of point of view, that's, you know, we've had situations where we chase people for, you know, the better part of a year for £60, and it's like £60 didn't even cover the Uber. Like,
Don't treat me like a Barbie doll. You're making my skin crawl.
I'm from Norway myself, and you often pay a little bit more to go see a gig, and the bands get paid a bit more. And
I think because the music scene can be so shit in so many ways, I think it's really important that musicians together, they keep the DIY scene alive between each other, and we put on our own gigs. And when we feel like equals and we're putting on stuff, and there's like a respect that's there, and we pay each other and we respect each other. And
It's grassroots artists, isn't it?
exactly, it's so important.
While you're tucking your tail, man. While you're looking so pale, man. I'm not for sale, man. You just wanna see me fail, man. Better leave now while you can. I don't think you understand. I'm not some personal talisman. Put you in the fucking trash can.
I was excited to reach the end, but hours on the bike had given me time to reflect. I'd spoken to so many artists, and one thing was clear. The grassroots music scene is alive, beautiful, creative, defiant, but it is struggling. I wish I could say just how amazing it is, and it really is amazing, but it doesn't come without its flaws. It often feels like the bigger industry is working against us. Artists are expected to be business-minded and relentlessly creative all at once. They're chasing pennies from promoters, living off rider beers, and you can't pay rent with beer. A lot of them are juggling gigs and tours with full-time jobs, trying to carve out a time for music in the cracks between shifts. And what really struck me across towns, cities, genres, was how universal the frustration is. Everyone I met seemed tired, not of the music, but of the hustle. The emotional toll, the unpaid hours, the feeling that passion alone isn't enough to keep things moving. In many ways, it's like this journey. The countless punctures, the mechanicals, the constant fixing and repairing, the days where everything felt broken. I felt broken. But with the right tools and the right support, everything was repairable. Grassroots music is exactly the same. It doesn't need fixing from above. It needs people to care, to fund, to show up and to listen. Because the grassroots scene, like the bike, carries us further than we realise, it connects us. And if we look after it, it will keep going.